you're now writing books, and I think you just finished your second book. Is that correct?
I did.
Fill us
That is
in.
correct. Yes. So this is it, In This Land of Plenty. It's my first novel, and my second book. Thank you. And my first book, Fertile Soil: Stories of the California Dream, is short stories. I published that over 5 years ago, and then I published the novel this last July. And it is, I'll do only one little sales pitch. It's available at La Bodega in Pilada and also at Oloalaya in South Guiones. So weird to say South Guiones, but that's the new name. I would still call it Main Guiones. And of course, online at Amazon and Apple and Kobo and Barnes and Noble and all kinds of places. So if you want to check it out.
Tell us about your books and what, tell us where it's coming from. Like what pulled you to this? Because that's not a small novel. I just saw it. It's pretty big. So
it is big. It is, yeah. So I'm a lifelong Californian, Northern Californian, until I came to Costa Rica, and I grew up there. I went to school, my career, everything in the Bay Area, part of San Francisco Bay Area, part of Northern California. So, and I grew up in Silicon Valley before it was really Silicon Valley. And so California has always fascinated me, the changes, why are people so innovative and creative? It's a boom bust economy that's interesting and has been for a long time. So I've always and I'm a history buff. I was in education for many years. So I taught English and history. So I love all that stuff. And I always wanted to be a writer. I had a whole other career in education, but I always wanted to write and done some journalism and all that. But I always wanted to write fiction, exactly. So when I moved to Nosara and left my education stuff behind, I could finally focus on it. And so the first book was short stories, very influenced. I spent 30 years in public education in California. So the stories are lives of, teenagers with their stories, and elementary principal, a story of, just somebody trying to make their community better. But I really was interested in the whole history of California. And so the novel is, it's a family saga, multi-generational family saga for those people who like, the thorn birds and, those long ones, the Russian novels, but hopefully a little clearer than some of those. And it starts with, there's a contemporary story, a current young person who lives in San Francisco, and she finds out that her DNA test reveals she has a very different background than she thought she had. And so she goes and starts to investigate, well, how could I have Native Americans and Mexican and African American blood? And I was told I was just totally white and Protestant for generations. So she investigates. And then most of the book is her actual family tree coming to life. So I have in the book a family tree. Can you see that at all? It's a 250-year family tree I invented for this family. And so then I start her real story back when the Spanish came to Alta California 250 years ago. And then the story follows through this one line through this family to her. So there's Spanish soldier, there's the priests who set up the missions. I don't know how much you know about California history, but there's 21 missions all along the coast. And then the Native Americans. There were lots of Native Americans there who weren't particularly interested in being, baptized Catholic or being colonized. So that's the story, what happens and how it unfolds and over the generations.